Hello everyone, welcome to this online class. My name is Juan and this is Mark. And I'll be teaching and Mark will be practicing the class today. Today we're going to use two blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's okay, don't worry about it. I'm just going to have them there just in case you do have blocks at home. Mark, could I please ask you to place the blocks at the front of the mat? You can keep them vertical. But in front of the edge of the mat, yes. And more about sort of like shoulder distance apart. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to begin standing at the front of the mat. Yeah, facing forward, perfect. And let's just begin by taking a few cycles of breath here. Just simple cycles of breath. You can close your eyes. You can keep your eyes softly opened if you like. So just inhaling through the nose and feel the chest expand, feel the belly expand, feel the back of the chest also expanding, the front of the chest, the sides of the chest. You can exhale through the nose, you can exhale through the mouth, it's up to you. And we're just going to do about 5 more cycles of breath here, just to begin to connect to our breath, which is going to be part of the foundation of this practice. And just about 3 more cycles of breath here. As you feel the breath and notice the breath, notice how the feet are connecting to the floor. So how your feet meet the floor, how the toes meet the floor, how the heels meet the floor. At the same time as you feel the crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling. And just to incorporate a little bit of mindfulness here, feeling yourself, feeling the feet on the floor, connecting to that. Now taking one more deep inhale here and one more deep exhale. With the next inhalation, reach your arms up toward the ceiling. You can look up to the hands and just bring the hands in prayer position in front of the chest as you exhale. Perfect. Inhale to bring the arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, hands together, just connecting breath and movement. Last one, inhale to bring the arms up to the ceiling. And then exhale to bring the hands in front of the chest. Let's do one more. Inhale to bring the arms up. The exhale takes us into a forward fold. So exhale, forward fold. Place the hands on the blocks, and you can bring the blocks about shoulder distance apart. And then what I'd like you to do is micro bend the knees, lengthen through the spine, look forward, and you can also lengthen the elbows as you have your hands on the blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can place the hands against the shins. Mark, can you show that please? Hands against the shins, just as an option. Perfect. So returning the hands to the blocks or stay here, Mark, is up to you. So now on the next exhalation, think of like a cat. So round the spine, chin to the chest. You can lengthen through the back of the knees more. Inhale, bend your knees, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, round the spine like a cat. So chin to the chest. You can look up to your belly. Last one, inhale to look up, chest forward. And as you exhale, again, forward fold around the spine. Think of like that cat spine rounding. Now, placing the hands on the floor, step your right leg back, then step the left leg back into plank. Let's hold plank for about 3 or 4 cycles of breath. Shoulders stacking over the wrists. Really spread the fingers wide on the floor. Crown of the head is reaching forward to the front of the room. And at the same time, think about the heels reaching toward the back. Lower abdominal muscles is slightly hugged in to keep you protected through the lower back. Notice if you're sinking the shoulder blades in too much. So try to press the space or widen the space between the shoulder blades by pressing those muscles up toward the ceiling. Taking one more deep inhale here, option to lower the knees or keep the knees off the floor, and slowly begin to lower chest, belly, pelvis to the floor. You can chaturanga here or come down, however is available to you. Moving into a cobra, shoulders back, chest forward. As you look forward, squeeze the muscles of your pelvis, of your buttocks more, and then reach your feet back lengthen the back of the knees and visualize your lower back lengthening. As you exhale, lower the chest. Let's do 2 more like that again. Inhale, lift your chest as you visualize your lower back lengthening. Exhale to lower the chest. Last one, inhale to lift the chest, shoulders back. And as you exhale, lower back down. Tuck the toes under, press yourselves back up onto your hands and knees, and then shift back into downward facing dog. So pelvis up to the ceiling, feet about hip distance apart, hands stay about shoulder distance apart. If child's pose is better for you at this moment, feel free to come down to child's pose instead, which is knees on the floor and pelvis to your heels, or stay here. Just 2 more cycles of breath. Continuing to notice how the hands connect to the floor. How the hands are meeting the floor, how the feet, whichever surfaces of the feet are on the floor, notice how that surfaces connects to the floor. Gather both feet closer together. Take your right leg up toward the ceiling. Bring it knee to chest, round the spine, touch your nose, and step your right foot forward between the hands. Option to lower back knee down or keep it off the floor. Reach your hands up to the ceiling into a high lunge. Shoulders down, lower abdominal muscles continue to hug in. Facial muscles soften. Maybe Ujjayi breath, that ocean breath, or just keep your breath as nice and simple, but keep noticing your breath. Inhale to reach your hands higher. Exhale to lower the hands back down to the floor. Step your back leg forward. So you're back into a forward fold. Hands on blocks or the shins. Inhale to lengthen halfway up, look forward. Think of like that cow pose we did earlier at the beginning. And exhale, forward fold. You can think of that cat pose we also did at the beginning. Now from here, soften the knees, reach your arms forward, coming all the way up to standing. Bring the hands together at the top and then hands in prayer position in front of the chest. Perfect. Inhale to bring the arms up. Exhale, chest to thighs and forward fold. Hands come down to blocks or shins. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands on the floor. Step your left leg back and step your right leg back into plank. Couple cycles of breath here. And then 1 more cycle of breath. Keep looking to the spaces slightly in front of the hands so the head doesn't drop down to the floor. On the next exhalation, knees on the floor or off the floor and lower chest, belly, pelvis, chaturanga. If you want a child's pose right away, go ahead. And then inhale, cobra again, shoulders back, reach your feet back, lengthen the back of the knees and engage the muscles of your buttocks. Lower the chest back down, tuck the toes under, press back up into plank and shift back into downward dog. But again, you can always move into your child's pose. And 3 more cycles of breath here. And then just 1 more inhale. Let's gather both legs together on the next exhale. Left leg comes up toward the ceiling, knee to chest, round the spine, touch your nose, step your left foot forward. Inhale to bring both hands up toward the ceiling. Very nice, shoulders down, hugging the lower belly in. You could always micro bend the back knee. Keep thinking about the right hip forward and the left hip toward the back space. Very nice. Inhale to reach your hands higher. Exhale to lower the hands back down to the floor. And let's carry and take the back leg forward into your forward fold. Hands on blocks or shins. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Exhale back down, forward fold. Bend your knees, reach your arms forward. Take yourself all the way back up to standing. Hands together as you exhale back in front of the chest, just to close this cycle. Inhale to bring the arms up. As you exhale, chest to thighs and forward fold. Inhale halfway, blocks or shins. Exhale, forward fold. Hands on the floor, right leg back, then left leg back into plank. If jumping back or hopping, that's is in your practice, go for it. Exhale, chest, belly, pelvis to the floor, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, or if upward facing dog is for you today, go into upward facing dog, keep the belly engaged, maybe knees on the floor. Exhale back into child's pose or downward facing dog for 3 cycles of breath. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And I'm just gonna give Mark here a quick adjustment. I'm gonna place my hands against his sacrum area, so the very, very, very almost end of the pelvis, below the lower back, just to put a little bit of pressure toward the heels. And then from here, let's bring both legs closer to each other. Right leg comes back up toward the ceiling. Knee to chest, round the spine, touch your nose, step your right foot forward. This is warrior one. So lower the back heel on the floor. The back toes is still as forward as possible. The left hip still forward as much as you can. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Front knee stays bent, stacking over that front heel or the ankle. Soften the toes. Keep lengthening the back leg. Inhale to reach the hands higher. Exhale to lower the hands back down to the floor. From here, stepping the back leg forward into your forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, back down, forward fold. Bend your knees, reach your arms forward, take yourself all the way up, hands together, all the way in front of the chest. Again, inhale to bring both arms up to the ceiling. Bend your knees, lower all the way back down to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold, hands on the floor, left leg steps back, then the right leg steps back right away. Lower chest, belly, pelvis, maybe knees on the floor too. Inhaling cobra or upward facing dog. And as you exhale, back into downward dog or child's pose. Again, a couple more cycles of breath here. Continue to visualize like you have someone pressing onto your sacrum, that middle bone between the two hip bones below the spine, and it's like you are continuing to send the weight of your body to your heels. They don't have to touch the floor. Now gathering both legs together, left leg comes up on the next inhale, knee to chest, round the spine, touch the nose, step your left foot forward between the hands, warrior one on the other side, so the back foot comes down, bring the arms up to the ceiling, shoulders down. Very nice. Inhale to reach a little higher, maybe bend the front knee a little more. And as you exhale, lower chest all the way back down, hands on the floor, and let's step the back leg forward. Inhale halfway up to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Right away, bend your knees, reach your arms, take yourself all the way up, hands together at the top, and then in front of the heart. Very nice. Again, inhale to bring both arms up. Bend your knees, chest to thighs, and forward fold. Inhale halfway up to lengthen, and as you exhale, back down, forward fold. Right leg back, then the left leg back, plank. Chaturanga, exhale, chest, belly, pelvis. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And as you exhale, back into downward facing dog. Right away, right leg comes up to the ceiling. This is warrior two. Knee to chest, step your right foot forward between the hands. Turn the back foot out to the side, and then windmill left arm back, right hand forward. Keep the front knee stacking over the front heel or the ankle. The back foot is still slightly turned to face forward because that is helping the pelvis to support the rotation of the front leg. So the front leg in relationship to the pelvis is turned out, which means the knee is pointing forward and the knee continues to press slightly to the side. So the back hip, the left hip, is going to just turn in a tiny bit forward to help the front leg keep the turned out. Take one more inhale here. On the next exhalation, lower the hands back down to the floor. Step your back leg forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway up to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold again. Bend your knees, reach your arms forward as you take them all the way up, and then hands in prayer position in front of the chest. Very nice. Inhale to bring the arms up. This is the last set. Exhale, chest to your thighs and forward fold. Inhale halfway up to lengthen, and exhale to come back down. Hands on the floor, left leg back, right leg back into your plank. Shoulders back, lower chaturanga, chest, belly, pelvis as you exhale. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And as you exhale, back into downward dog, or remember, child's pose is your other option if you like. Left leg comes up toward the ceiling, inhale. Knee to chest, round the spine, touch the nose, step your left foot forward. Warrior two, windmill the arms, right hand is back, left arm is forward. The back big toe is slightly pointing to the front of the room. Very nice. Keep breathing. Shoulders are stacking over the pelvis. Lower abdominal muscles continue to hug in. And then taking one more inhale here. On the next exhale, windmill the hands all the way down to the floor and step your back leg forward. Inhale halfway up to lengthen. And as you exhale, back down to your forward fold. And then taking both arms forward, take yourselves all the way up to standing, hands together at the top. And as you exhale, hands in prayer position in front of the chest. Perfect. Inhale to bring the hands back up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, return the hands back in front of the chest, but we're just going to find a way to stay here nice and grounded by pressing both hands together in front of the chest. We're going to move into Vrikshasana, tree pose on the right and the left. So Mark, bring the weight to your left leg. Take the right knee up to your chest. Turn the right knee out to the side and bring the right foot either against below the knee joint or above the knee joint. Hands in prayer position in front of the chest. For this variation, let's reach the arms forward, interlace the fingers, and press the palms up toward the ceiling. So continue to bring the belly in, lower abdominal muscles in. Crown of the head is reaching forward, actively pressing the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot. Keeping your focal point. And then slowly take your hands forward once again, bend your elbows, release your hands and bring the hands together in front of the chest. Return the right knee back into the center, extend your right leg forward, and as you lower the right leg down, think about the crown of the head reaching up toward the ceiling at the same time. Very nice. Shift the weight to the right. Let's do Vrikshasana on the other side. Left knee to chest, turn the left knee out to the side, foot below or above the knee joints. Press the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot, hands together. And then begin to interlace the fingers, and this time try to interlace the other way. So the opposite pinky finger is underneath as you press the palms forward and reach them up to the ceiling, and that might feel a little bit different in terms of interlacing the hands that way. So actively pressing the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. Think about the crown of the head reaching up toward the ceiling as you keep that focal point. And then very slowly keep your legs. Just bring the arms forward. Bend your elbows. Release your hands, hands together in front of the heart. Bring the left knee back into the center. Extend the left leg forward. And as you lower the heel, reach the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Very nice. Inhale to reach your hands up to the ceiling again. As you exhale, forward fold, chest to thighs. Hands on blocks or the shins. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. And as you exhale, back down, forward fold. So both hands on the floor, step your right leg back, then the left leg back, plank. Chaturanga or child's pose, or lower chest, belly, pelvis, or downward dog. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back into downward dog or child's pose. Perfect. Moving into pigeon pose. So take your right leg up to the ceiling, knee to chest. And then take your knee toward the back of the right wrist. And your right foot is going to go pretty close to the left hand as much as possible. And then you can always look behind you, tuck the back toes under, slide your back knee further back, and you can keep the back toes tucked under, or you can flatten the back foot, your choice. And then, because we've done a lot of back bends already through cobra and upward facing dog, you can have a choice to stay here in a pigeon pose with a back bend, or you can walk your hands forward as you lower the chest closer to the front leg. And maybe stay on the forearms. You can also use a block between the forehead and the floor if you want to support the head. We're going to be here for about 5 more cycles of breath. Keep thinking about both hips, the weight of both hips equally distributed. Although sometimes it feels really nice to bring some extra weight toward the right hip. Feel free to listen to your body, whatever you need to do. If you need to maybe have more weight on the right side, that's fine. And just about 1 more cycle of breath here. From here, take both hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to come to a sitting position, so lower to the right hip and take the left leg forward. Keep the left leg straight. Bring the right foot against the left upper inner thigh. Inhale to reach the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold as you bring the chest toward the front thigh. Hands can come down wherever they are, whether it is on the shin or the foot. Inhaling to lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, lower all the way back down or further down. Keep bringing the belly into your lower back just to create some space there. And you can also let the head be heavy here. And then with the next inhalation, reach your hands forward, take the hands back up toward the ceiling, hands together in front of the chest. Moving into a twist. So take the right foot and bring it onto the other side of the left knee. Perfect. You can either keep the left leg straight, or if it's okay, keeping both sit bones on the floor, or as long as you keep both sit bones on the floor, you can take your left leg underneath you. Otherwise, just keep your left leg straight. Wrapping the left elbow around the right knee and take your right hand toward the back space. Make sure the right foot really presses on the floor as much as possible. So here, inhale to lengthen through the spine, and as you exhale, look toward the back space. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to look further back. And then slowly from the belly, begin to come back to the center. Perfect. Extend both legs straight in front of you. Feel free to give yourself a nice shake here through the legs. And either cross the ankles to come back forward into hands and knees, or just bring the legs to one side as you come back onto your hands and knees. From here, tuck the toes under, and then taking the pelvis up toward the ceiling back into downward facing dog. Inhale to bring the right leg up to the ceiling. Knee to chest, round the spine, touch the nose, step your right foot forward, and then step the left foot forward back into forward fold. Inhale halfway up to lengthen, and exhale back down. Micro bend the knees, reach your arms forward, take yourselves all the way up. So if you can look at the hands here, and then as you exhale, take the hands back in front of the chest. Inhale to bring the arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, micro bend the knees, chest to thighs, and forward fold. Inhale halfway up to lengthen forward. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg steps back, then the right leg steps back into plank. Lower chest, belly, pelvis, chaturanga. Inhaling cobra or upward facing dog. And as you exhale, back into downward facing dog. From here, the left leg comes up toward the ceiling. We're going to move into pigeon pose on the other side. So bring the knee to chest, and then lower the knee down to the back of the left wrist. Lower the back knee down, look behind you, and just slide the back foot a little bit further back, and you have the choice of keeping the toes tucked under or flat. Either keep the spine upright as you look forward into a back bend, or walk the hands forward into pigeon pose. Either keeping the head heavy or keeping the head in line with the spine. Just a few cycles of breath here. And just one more cycle of breath. And then let's return the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to go back into a sitting position. So lower the left hip down to the floor. Right leg is forward. Keep the right leg straight. Bring the left foot against the right upper inner thigh and take both hands up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, forward fold. Take the upper body forward. Hands on the floor or hands on the leg, or some of you might be able to find and reach the foot with your hands. And one more exhalation to bring the upper body a little bit further down, bringing the belly to spine. On the next inhale, reach your hands forward all the way up toward the ceiling, and as you exhale, bring the hands in prayer position in front of the chest. Let's bring the left knee up to the ceiling and take the left foot all the way out to the other side. Perfect. Either keep the right leg straight or tucking the right leg under, keeping the left leg pretty close to the knee. And then bring your right elbow around the left knee. Left hand goes back. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to turn and twist and look to the back space. Each inhalation is an opportunity to lengthen higher or taller. And as you exhale, twisting from the belly, also allowing for the pelvis to help the belly twist. And one more exhalation here. And then coming back to the center, perfect. Extend both legs forward. And you can just move the legs from side to side if you need to. Perfect. So now from here, again, either cross the ankles or bring the legs to one side as you come back onto your hands and knees. Once you come to hands and knees, tug the toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, left leg comes up toward the ceiling. Knee to chest, round the spine, touch your nose, step your left foot forward between the hands, then the right leg forward between the hands. Hands on blocks or the shins, inhale to lengthen halfway, and exhale back down, forward fold. Micro bend the knees with your arms up toward the ceiling, hands together at the top, and exhale, hands in prayer position in front of the chest. Moving into Malasana, squat pose. Heel, toe the feet about mat's distance apart. Keeping the toes and the feet turned out from the base of the thighs into the hip sockets. Hands together, bend your knees. Keep the knees following the same trajectory as the toes as you lower the pelvis down toward the floor. You can always lower the hands down if you need to. Keep breathing here. And just one more cycle of breath. And then Mark, we're going to use this to sit down. So I'd like you to bring the hands back and then support yourself, lowering the pelvis slowly down into the floor. Perfect. Moving into a butterfly, so feet together as the knees open to the sides. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, forward fold. So bring the upper body forward, head is heavy down toward the floor. Keep breathing here. And just about one more cycle of breath. And then very slowly with the next inhalation, begin to roll back up to the spine. Let's find Sukhasana or easy pose. Just for a few cycles of breath, just resting the hands on top of the knees, lengthen the spine, close your eyes. Just to feel the body. Feel the breath again, reconnecting to the motion of the rib cage as it expands forward and sideways and backwards. The lengthening of the crown of the head, the way that the sit bones are meeting the floor. Digesting all the good energy that we just created for ourselves. Just a couple more cycles of breath here. And then slowly, if your eyes are closed, begin to float the eyes open. And start to bring both legs in front of you, both feet on the floor, knees are bent. Scooching a little bit forward so you have some space behind you. Bringing the hands forward, and then very slowly begin to lower, the middle, the upper. And the head is going to be the last one to come back down to the floor. And then once the head comes down to the floor, gather both knees into the chest, hands on top of the knees. Give yourself a nice hug. And then let's bring both feet down onto the floor into a twist here. Lower both knees to the right side first. And if you don't have enough space, that's fine. Just as far to the floor as you can. As you open the left leg, as you open the left arm out to the side. So the right hand comes down on top of the thigh, the left thigh as an option, or you can also extend both arms out if you have the space. And just to get a little bit of movement here through the shoulder, one last chance for movement. Mark, can you start to bring the left arm, bring it up toward the back, and then circle the left arm toward the right side, and again, open it again. Let's just do 2 more cycles like that. So open the arm backwards, above the head, and to the side, and open it to the left. Last one. And then slowly opening the shoulders again, and then let's begin to bring both legs back into the center. So let's take both knees, or actually both feet on the floor, then both knees to the left side. And you can bring the knees as close to your chest as you like, as you lower that opposite hand on top, the left hand on top of the right knee. You can also bring the opposite arm more into a diagonal if you don't have enough space there. Yeah, perfect. And just feeling both shoulders softening down into the floor. And then we'll continue to bring the right arm up as you bring it all the way. And you can let some of the body also go toward the left side. Not only the arm, but you could take the whole shoulder cuff with you. And then open and take. Yes, perfect. And you can also allow for the head to maybe turn a little bit toward the left side. Just letting the head follow the spine. Let's just do one more like that, an extra one on this side. Perfect. And then once their arm opens, feel both shoulders again settling on the floor as you return both knees back into the center. Let's move into a happy baby. So taking both knees into the chest. Soles the feet up to the ceiling, and you can reach the hands up, holding the outer edges of the feet. Perfect. Now, I just want to add a quick window pose. So for window pose, lift the chest up and the head up, so looking forward. Perfect. And tell the neck muscles to soften as much as possible. So it's just that last core connection before we lie down in Shavasana. And then inhale to lift the chest a little higher, head higher, and then lower the head back down to the floor. Gather both legs close together, hands on top of the knees, and let's move into a bridge. So lower the feet on the floor, keep the heels closer to the sit bones, hands by your sides, and begin to curl the pelvis as you lift the pelvis up, lower, middle, keeping the upper chest, the back of the upper chest and the back of the head. You can interlace the hands underneath if you like, or keep them separated. And continue to think about the knees moving in toward each other. So inner thighs and nice and closer toward each other. And then inhale to lift the pelvis a little higher. And you slowly begin to separate your hands, lower the spine again, one vertebra at a time. Pelvis is last to come down. Gather both knees back into the chest, coming up into cannonball. So hands on top of the knees, lift your chest up, head up. You can also reach the outside of the feet here, keeping the arms on the outside of the legs. Maybe the knees pretty close to the forehead. Inhale to lift higher here. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. Perfect. And we're just going to finish with a quick fish pose here. So feet on the floor. Like you're doing bridge pose, lift your pelvis back up to the ceiling. Slide the hands underneath you. Perfect. This time, the thumbs are next to each other, so your palms are flat on the floor. Lower the pelvis on top of the hands. Extend the legs straight in front of you. So the weight of your pelvis is on the hands and the elbows are straight. Think of only the chest. So the chest is going to lift up to the ceiling. You can bend the elbows a little bit to support you, just forearms on the floor, and the back of the head is going to release toward the back space. The more you lift the chest up, the more the head looks to the back space. Maybe the crown of the head may come off the floor a little bit. Inhale to lift the chest a little higher. And then slide the back of the head away from the body as you lower the upper chest back down. Bend your knees again. Feet on the floor, lift your pelvis, release your hands, and gather both knees back into the chest one last time. And then slowly begin to find Shavasana. So extend both legs straight in front of you, hands by your sides. I'm just going to move the blocks out of the way, Mark, so you have more space. So allow for the legs to open about a max distance apart, and then the hands can also soften by your sides. Palms can be facing up. If you want to slide something underneath the knees, blocks or a cushion, that's fine. Shoulder blades drawn in toward each other underneath you. And close your eyes. Begin to soften the weight of your heels, the knees, the pelvis. Loosen and softening the contents of your abdominal wall, abdominal muscle area, belly area. Softening the contents of your chest, softening the contents of your neck. And just noticing how the back of the body meets the floor. And if your mind wanders, coming back to your breath, coming back to your inhales and your exhales. The sensation of the belly and the chest rising up and down as you inhale. Feel free to stay here for as long as you like. It is my pleasure and an honor to guide you through this practice today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of today. Thank you so much. Namaste.